finally over. All the speculation finally came to an end yesterday at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase when Playground Games announced Forza Horizon 5. That's right, the Horizon Festival is headed to beautiful, diverse Mexico for the 5th title in the series.
It's the biggest, it's the most diverse, it's the most fun Horizon yet. It's the biggest open world we've ever built.
Why Mexico? Why are we going to Mexico?
Right from the start, we knew that we wanted to make the biggest Horizon ever. And you don't get that far down that path before you realize there's no point making the biggest ever unless it's also the most diverse, because otherwise you're just adding more of the same. Snowy mountains, epic canyons, beautiful historic cities, stunning coastlines, jungles, rolling hills, farmland, multiple different types of desert. You add on top of that the fact that it has this culture that's known and loved all around the world, the art, the music, the people. There just couldn't be a more exciting option for the Horizon Festival than Mexico.
Ray tracing is basically the closest or the next step to complete photorealism. It's a way in which light is calculated and reflections are calculated that is pretty much, you might as well be there looking at it. As with everything, we looked at tons and tons of reference, and we really want to be as true to that place as possible to make it feel like you're really there.
Forza Link is a new AI assistant that tracks the current status of you and everybody else in the world, as well as your current progress, like through the campaign and like festival playlist activities. And if it knows, for example, that we both love to do the trial, but we haven't yet done it this week, then it might prompt me to go, "Hey Charlie, do you want to come and do the trial?" And then you'd go, "Yeah, cool." And then it just groups us together, starts matchmaking, and then we go off to do that activity together.
Wow, okay. And one of the other things I loved as well, actually, is we saw in the trailer pinatas, and that's in the Horizon Arcade. So can you give us the lowdown on what the arcade is?
A suite of really, really fun, engaging mini games that you'll all play in a collaborative or cooperative way. And then you all work together to try and overcome whatever the challenge may be. In this one, you've got to try and smash as many pinatas as you can, but there's a load of other different game modes in there as well.
What is new in customization?
There are over 100 new rims, over 100 new visual upgrade parts, thousands of performance upgrades. You can also paint your brake calipers, which is a thing that people have been clamoring for a number of years. You can customize your hairstyle, hair color, you can choose prosthetic limbs, you can set your pronoun, you can choose your voice. So there's much more options when you're customizing how you appear in the game, as well as how your car appears.
Hello there, Forza fans, and welcome to another episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go live with Playground Games. Today we are talking about the weather, obviously, but by no means is this going to be small talk. Oh, absolutely not. Forza Horizon 5 has the largest, most diverse open world setting of any Forza game to date, and the team went to extra great lengths to recreate the dynamic skies and weather of Mexico in authentic detail. And here to give us a glimpse of how they did it are Playground Games lead lighting artist Lucas Coles, art director Don Arqueta, and senior lighting artist Adam Curry. But before we jump in, let's take a quick look at the agenda. So first up, we're going to take a behind-the-scenes look at the 12K Sky Capture process that Playground Games used to build the stunningly realistic skies of Forza Horizon 5. Then we have the brand new footage of the localized weather systems you'll be experiencing when you play the game. And as we go along, put your Forza Horizon 5 questions in chat just like last time, and we'll answer a few of them at the end of the stream. So that is the plan for today, but shall we meet everyone? Hello, 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 everybody. Lucas, Don, hey Dan, come join me. Welcome.
Hey, excited to be here.
Hi, Charlie.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, hello. You're all so welcome to be here. We're actually going to go down the line and figure out exactly who we've got here today. So starting with Lucas, what is it exactly that you do as a lead lighting artist?
Right, yeah. Well, as the lead, I have the pleasure to lead our world-class team of lighting artists. And the lighting team actually covers a lot of things. Like, it's quite a variety of things that we do. Obviously, we capture the skies, which is what we're going to talk about. We're also in charge of a lot of the weather settings that we're going to talk about later. Some stuff that we're not going to touch on today is that we're quite involved in the R&D process. Working with the rendering engineers, new GI system that we implemented for Horizon 5, shadows, all those kind of things. But really, for me, my job as lead is to work with the art director, Sudan, to figuring out what the vision for the look of our game is. And for the Horizon games, that's really a very realistic look, but then with that Horizon beauty. And I guess figuring out what that means and bringing that to life in the game.
So a pretty significant role then. What about you, Don? What do you do as an art director?
Yeah, so as art director, I drive the artistic vision of the game. So working with the multiple art disciplines across the team, like lighting, and really finding that Horizon beauty that the series is known for, as well as making sure that the team is reaching the high quality standards that Playground is known for. And the most important part of my role is just making sure that we're as authentic as possible to the location of Mexico.
Brilliant. I love it. And last but certainly not least, Adan, what about you? What are you up to on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I do a lot of the lighting stuff that Lucas also mentioned there, but a big focus of my job is actually the skies and the weather and how we capture that and process that and put it into the game. So we're going to be touching on that shortly.
Well, I'll tell you what, should we touch on it now? Because sky is pretty much the word of the day. So I'll throw it out to the room. I want to know exactly what makes the skies so special in the Horizon series.
Yeah, totally. And I think the one thing that sets us apart really is that we capture the real sky, right? And we're actually going to show off the Sky Capture rig in a bit. You can already see it a little bit down here. Oh, well, and the images. So there we go. So these are actually images that we prepared for today. That is our Sky Capture rig on location in action. And I think we have 4 of those. We can just go through those as I talk about them, I guess. So we take that to the location. We've done this since Horizon 3 now. So this is like the 3rd iteration of our Sky rig. We keep improving it. And we always take it to the location that the game is set. So we took it to Australia. We had it in the UK. And this time we did the same. So, yeah.
So I'll tell you what, you've got it right in front of you. Can we deep dive? Because that looks like some sort of movie camera nonsense you've got going on. I just want to unpack it. What have we got today? I love when we bring gifts in.
Yeah, I'm actually going to refer to Aiden. So like you already mentioned, he's kind of our expert for it. So Aiden, for both Horizon 4 and 5, has iterated on this. So I'm just going to let him talk to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so as you can see here, the rig is composed of 3 medium format cameras, and each one of these shoots an 8K image pointing at a third of the sky each, and then we take that back and stitch it together, and then we have up to a 12K image that we can use for our sky domes. So
now that we have it actually on screen, the 3 cameras, the plate that holds it together, and the tripod down here. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so each one of these cameras takes an 8K image, but what they do is also take a bracketed shot of the sky. So that means that we can capture the full dynamic range of the lighting in that situation. So we can go, I think we've got an image of one of the bracketed shots, but that means that we can capture all the lighting from the shadows, and then we can also, I think it's a couple more ahead, but yeah, we can also capture all the highlights as well.
Got so many pictures to dive through, and honestly, all of them are gorgeous. But I want to pick up on one thing you did say, that you're taking pictures and not videos here. Is there a reason why it's pictures over videos?
Yeah, so what we do is you can see in the front here, we've got an intervalometer, and what that does is control all 3 cameras at the same time. And then we can control that to then shoot the bracketed shots that I mentioned, which I think is in the next slide. And what we can do is set that so it shoots every 30 seconds throughout the whole day. And obviously we do that for over multiple days. So I think it comes back at a lot of data. The data that we get back, I think, accumulates to around 75 terabytes, which is, as you can imagine, quite a lot of data. And then, so that's quite too much to be sent over the internet. And as we shot this in Mexico, we have to actually get shipments of hard drives to be shipped back over to the studio for us to process. So then it's
the old-fashioned way is better than the internet, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. And then, so it's a big feat for our lighting artists to actually make these into something that we can use into the game. So I think if we skip ahead on the slides here, we'll be able to see sort of the spherical frame image that we actually capture with these 3 cameras. Yeah, you can see there. So that's sort of image that we get back from each day of the shoot. And so this is a really good way to see the full days from a sort of above level, and for Don to sort of look at and agree what sort of skies that we want to put into the game and whatnot.
Yeah, and for us, it's super important to have this view of the sky. I think we have a time lapse of the sky. If we could play that. So obviously, if we're in game and trying to review the skies, you'd have to kind of drive around and look 360 all at once, which you can't really do. But with this setup, we can actually review the skies individually and find the really awesome moments that occur during these skies.
It's incredible. And with that being a time lapse, like, do you stick all the pieces together? Like, I'm probably asking a really dumb question here, but like, how come there's no gaps between any of the photos? It's the sort of wizardry you're doing over there.
Let me answer that in the question, just for that selection process. Sorry, to go back to that. That is where that Horizon beauty comes in during this process, because I mean they're all realistic. So if we just go for realism, we'd say shoot a day, just go with it, right? But instead we shoot many days. Like for Horizon 5, we shot like 400 hours of skies, and then we select from them to get the days that look the best, so that have an amazing sunrise, amazing sunset, have the amazing weather variety that we want in our games. So yeah. And sorry, do you want to go back to your question now?
I mean, I suppose the next question was, I sort of figured out how you'd stick the pictures together. Right? You know what? I'm sure everyone in chat doesn't need me to dwell on that. But I am curious. This sounds like an unfathomable amount of work to do to get a super hyper realistic skybox. Do you have like an estimate of how long that process has been for you from start to finish?
The whole project, I guess. So we start to finish. Start to finish. We start really early, especially with the planning. Obviously, the moment we have a location selected, we start finding spots where to best do this there. We need a flat horizon, so getting all that sorted.
Which is quite a difficult task itself, is finding a flat horizon.
Is it?
Yeah, so it needs to be flat in every single direction. Yeah, so which is why we've got this tripod. Actually, it goes up to about 10 feet. So we can get it quite high up in the sky.
Make sure there's like no light pollution.
Yeah,
at all
exactly.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then once we have it all processed, so the shoot is one part, and I'm processing it and putting it in game, and then the way these photos become that smooth playback that we see in game right now. So these are actually scenes from in game that we see there in the video in the background. That's some magic basically that makes these photos into what almost looks like a video. And that magic is called motion vectors. So we go to great lengths to take the images and kind of interpolate the in between, and then we get this really smooth playback in the ending game.
I just want to look at it. I just can't believe that's also Forza Horizon 5 that we're just watching there. I'm curious though, how does that sky compare to Forza Horizon 4? Did you have to rework the system between the two games, or did it just like taken it up to 11?
It's basically taking it up to 11. So the rig is the third iteration of it. So we're getting better and better at doing these sky shoots. And we change the rig every time. I remember the first time we did it, we had a big talk about it because it was a brand new thing that nobody had done before. This still holds true. I don't know of any studio that is doing this, just because of the amount of effort that goes into doing it, really. But I think the results just speak for themselves, and that's kind of why we go to those lengths. In terms of how this compares to Horizon 4, then the best way to explain that is kind of with the weather presets that we have. So when the user creates a custom race, they can choose to race at midday rainy, for example, or during a sunset and a clear sunset. So in Horizon 4, the system would then pick one preset from our skies to give them their selection. And we had about 300 of them. This time we have over 2,000. So there's quite a lot more variety. And a free roam, of course, you'll experience that too.
Amazing. So this is, we're going to move on to the weather now, because I'm really curious about this, and I'm sure chat's really interested, because this is where the sort of gameplay gets ticking and the content creation and thinking of all the mad stuff you can do. To begin with, I understand that you guys are making some pretty big changes when it comes to the weather in Forza Horizon 5, correct?
Yeah, so as mentioned before, like weather is regional in Forza Horizon 5. So if you're in the living desert, you could get just a sprinkling of rain, and then if you go down the jungle, it could be a torrential downpour. So we have all these different weather behaviors in the different biomes, which really reflects and enhances the experience that you have in those biomes. Along with that is we have kind of two new weather effects, which are seasonal, which is our towering dust storms and our tropical storms. And it's the one thing that's new about that as well is that it doesn't just happen around you. You actually can see it from a distance and approach it, which is something that we've never done in a Horizon game.
Yeah, and you can see that in the video that's playing just now. So this is it's an older internal video, and we created this video to kind of show these effects, how they look in the distance, how you experience them, and it still just does a great job at it. So we thought we'd share it today with the community.
Lovely.
Yeah, for the first time in a Horizon game, you can do the storm. Yeah, storm chasing was a big thing on our in our plans when we were starting the project.
I can't. The first thing I think I'm going to do as soon as I'm in free roam is go chase the first storm that I see. Because you also mentioned that these weather types are regional, correct? So like you will be able to spot storms from a while away, and if you don't want to be like, maybe if you want to compete in certain areas that are drier, or you're looking for a challenge, you can actually go to specific biomes for that.
Exactly. If in our winter season, which is in Mexico is our dry season, if you want to get a snow experience, you could drive up to the volcano and drive around the snow. If you don't want that snow wintry experience, then you could drive to the coast and have a very vacation-y type experience. So it is very different per region, as well as seasonal. So we also change those weather patterns and weather behaviors based on the different seasons.
Sure. I mean, that was going to be my next question, actually, was how much do Mexican seasons differ from English seasons? Because in England, fun fact, if you're watching this stream and not in England, it does rain every single season regardless. So is Mexico any different, I wonder?
It depends on which region you're in. So obviously, Mexico is very different than the traditional seasons that as we know it. But they all have their kind of nuances, and there's some relatability to them. And again, going back to being as authentic as possible, there is some characteristics and behaviors within the different biomes that feed themselves naturally to our four seasons.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you so much, everyone. And at this point, I'm actually going to hand over the stream to chat, who I'm certain have some big questions. So are we ready for some community Q&As, everyone?
Yeah, shoot.
Perfect. Okay. So the first question comes from Honey Bucket, who says, what about new engine sounds? I feel like this is going to be a recurring theme, but they want to know about new engine sounds. Are you able to comment on that today? Yeah,
so funny you ask, and I know there's a lot of interest in this. In a couple of weeks, we'll be covering that on the next stream.
There we go. Okay, so that's a not today, but come back in a few weeks, please, Honey Bucket. Okay, next question is from OMG Ponomar, who asks, will there be sheep? I think this is a really good question. I think we touched on it a little bit a couple of weeks ago, but will there be sheep in Forza Horizon 5?
So not UK sheep, but we will have bighorn sheep.
Bighorn Mexican sheep.
Yep.
Perfect. So yes to that answer. Up next is Leo Supercar, who wants to know about the long highway. Is there a long highway?
There is a long highway. I think Mike Brown mentioned last week that it's the longest highway we have in a Horizon game.
Wow.
It goes from corner to corner of the map.
Oh, corner to corner. Okay. Huge.
It's big. Yeah, it's long.
It's big. Yeah, that's fine. The long highway is long, chat, confirmed. The next question comes from Mr. MLG197, who says, are there different skies for different weather patterns? And I know we spoke about this a little bit, but is there maybe any insight you can share on how you captured the sky per weather pattern? So, for example, you've got dust storms. Did you actually have to go capture the sky in a dust storm, or?
We thought about that. So what we What we do is we capture them seasonal. That's very important to us. I guess we started out with Horizon 4, right, which had seasons, and for Horizon 5, for a time we weren't quite so sure about that because we thought, well, does the sky really change in Mexico during that time? Yes, it does. The sun arc is completely different. The atmosphere is different. The weather patterns that you get are completely different. There's already shows with the new weather types, like the tropical storm, isn't it all season? Same for the dust storm. So they are seasonal, and the weather differences are apparent, and they're apparent in the skies too. So obviously, during the stormy season, you see many more of those storms really rolling in, massive cloud formations. So like that is literally why we go through all this trouble, because the lighting is just so different depending on where in the world you are at which time you are there. Yeah.
It sounds like a dream for folks who like to jump in and out of photo mode. By the way, I feel like our Twitters are going to be even fuller of people taking pictures now. Okay, the next question comes from Gab Riser, and these are the fundamental questions we need to be doing today. Okay, people wants to know if there's a new logo for the Horizon Festival.
There is.
There is.
I think you could actually see it a bit in one of the screenshots that were released. So there actually is a glimpse of the new Horizon Festival branding in there.
You've just set a frenzy off now, and everyone's going to go.
Everyone's clicking to find that image.
Yeah, exactly. I found it. This is the one. Now, this question comes from Fritzy Fresh 05, who wants to know if barn finds are returning still. My 9-year-old would like you to answer that question as well, because she is obsessed with barn finds.
Definitely, barn finds are back, and yeah, they're probably the most detailed and location-specific barn finds we've done. So can't wait for people to actually start finding them.
Look better than ever.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. We've got another question here from Swish Nat, who wants to know if there are any good mountain roads. Now, I feel like that's a bit of an obvious question, but can you confirm that there are some proper naughty mountain roads?
Can confirm.
Well, there you go.
It's more than one road. There are multiple good mountain roads.
Wonderful, thank you. We have another question here from Lyanx, who says, can you put convertible roofs up and down in free roam? Again, I think Mike mentioned this last week. No, not the other week. Yeah. But yes, can we confirm that the convertible roofs go up and down?
Yes, they can. I think left thumbstick, press it down, and you'll drop the top or bring it up.
There was some confusion about which thumbstick it is last time, and it is the left one.
So we've come on today to confirm it is the left thumbstick. There we go. And I think this might be our last question. So it has to come from pro_noob7835. Big shout out to you. Wants to know, do the storms move different? Oh, sorry. Do the storms move to different parts of the map?
Storms are in different locations on the map, yes.
Do they move from one to another, or are they localized within specific? It's like, I guess the question is, do they bleed across the map and move around, or are they just in one sort of spot?
Right. So yeah, go ahead.
So they are localized on the map, but they do kind of swell and grow depending on the season. So there is some movement there, but for the most part, they do show up in different locations of the map.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm happy with that answer, chat, if you lot are. And unfortunately, I think that is all we've got time for today, even though I would talk to you lot forever, because this is genuinely stunning work that you're doing. So thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully we get to chat again very, very soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. And that's it, everyone. Forza Horizon 5, if you didn't already know, will be available on November 9th, and you can play it day one on Xbox Game Pass, or get cheeky early access on November 5th with the Xbox Game Pass Premium Add-ons bundle. Thanks again for watching today's show. There will be more Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go live streams coming your way, so stay tuned to the Forza channels for updates and more Forza Horizon news. Adios, everybody.
inside of me, lightning bolt electricity. Blow up.
All time, no fight, now we're coming like a hurricane. Tell me what you want right now.
Ooh, let everybody talk right now. Tell me what you want right now. You could get it.
Yeah, well you can get it. Yeah, yeah, you can get it. Tell me what you want and I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not giving up, come on, we got nothing left to lose. I'm feeling from the start, you know I'm not going anywhere. I don't give a tell me what you want, you can get it. Yeah, well you can get it. Yeah, yeah, you can get it.
You could get it.
You can get it.
Play it day one with Xbox Game Pass.